Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studios in Atlanta, Georgia, it's time for Atlanta Business Radio. Brought to you by OnPay. Built in Atlanta, OnPay is the top-rated payroll and HR software anywhere. Get 1 month free at onpay.com. Now, here's your host.
Lee Cantor here. We are so proud to be delivering original interviews with Atlanta business leaders, and this work would not be possible without the support of our sponsor, OnPay. So please support them so we can continue to share these important stories. Today on Atlanta Business Radio, we have an old friend, Ashish Mistry, CEO of KontrolFreek. Welcome, Ashish.
Hey, Lee. Good morning.
Well, tell us about KontrolFreek. What are you guys up to?
We're like everybody else, trying to manage remotely, and we seem to be doing a fairly decent job of it since we've been since we went under on the 12th. So, but we've been up to some exciting stuff, trying to use what's happening in the world of gaming and the fact that people are home and doing that a little bit to our advantage to help support the community. And so we'd love to talk to you guys about that this morning.
Sure. But before we get too far into that, just let our listeners know who aren't familiar with what KontrolFreek is and what market you're in. You're in the gaming industry, but you're the actual handsets and the player.
Yep. So let me quick background. The KontrolFreek's an Atlanta-based 11-year-old company in the video game accessory space. We invented the category that people now call performance gaming gear. And so our patented products around the performance thumbsticks and grips and cables are available both online and then also through GameStop and Best Buy and lots of global retailers. And so in a lot of ways, we make all those things that are not the controller, not the actual Xbox or PlayStation or the games. We make all those accessories that improve and enhance the gaming experience.
And then, so you're selling and innovating on these this equipment, and you're helping the gamer get the most out of the whatever piece of equipment they have.
That's right. Yeah, our products typically don't involve any electronics, so there's no modifications to the actual called first-party devices that consumers will buy. Our things basically snap on almost like you would an accessory for tennis or golf. In some ways, we like to consider ourselves the Under Armour of gaming, and so we make all those things that sort of are in the peripherals space, not necessarily those things that you might have to strap on or put into a controller or on a device.
Now, has the pandemic, I would imagine, as more and more people are at home gaming, probably hours of gaming have gone up, but has it also brought in the new gamer, or a lot of people now just kind of exploring gaming?
I think it's both. And so we've seen an uptick in traffic for sure. I think part of it is the existing customer playing more, but we've also seen people that used to play coming back online. And so you've got lots of professionals that while they're at the office probably struggle to turn the Xbox or PlayStation on, but now they're at home, there's probably a little bit more downtime in between things. When you get rid of the commute and you get rid of a bunch of the dead time in your day, gaming's a great way to sort of fill those gaps. And
then I'm sure there's been some research done on how this is a de-stressor, or is that accurate?
Yeah, I mean, it's the World Health Organization. Actually, it's funny. It went both ways, right? In the beginning, the World Health Organization, I think maybe 6 or 8 months ago, was like, "Hey, gaming might be bad," and then they came back around and said, "Hey, gaming is good." So it's funny how you can reverse course depending upon the context of what's going on. So it's been pretty neat to see. But I think our place in that world really revolves around, building ergonomic accessories, things that really improve and enhance the gameplay, but also it has a bunch of form factor benefits. So as a consumer, whether it's a 14-year-old or a 34-year-old, our products really help reduce hand fatigue and those elements that may cause repetitive use injury over time. And so our products actually help to alleviate some of those issues.
Now, is KontrolFreek doing anything because of the pandemic? Have you altered anything in terms of, I'm sure everybody's working remotely, but how does the manufacturing and the distribution, has any of that changed?
No, we've actually, since inception, our company's made our products in the States. And so we've had no products on the water that would basically been delayed. Our stuff is made in the Southeast. So we've been supporting manufacturers. And, we started the company really at, 2009, 2010, early 2010, late 2009. In what was sort of the last major economic crisis. And so we didn't have the option of going overseas at that point in time. And so we took what was a plant in Alabama and converted it from making wiring harnesses to making performance thumbsticks, and then helping to do all of the back end stuff that we operate with now.
Now, tell everybody about what you guys did to celebrate Giving Tuesday on May 5th.
Yeah, so we felt fortunate that, one, our business is in a good place and our employees are all safe and sound. And so we thought it was a great opportunity to help, while our business was okay, to help others that might not be. So the Giving Kitchen is something that it's near and dear to us in the sense that we took that as well as COVID, which is a little bit more gaming centric, and then the World Health Organization, which is what our Freak Nation community wanted to support. And so we basically took Giving Tuesday and said, hey, what does our community want to do? And our community, is comprised of over 4 million consumers globally. And that was what they selected. We allowed our teams and employees to select COVID or the Giving Kitchen locally. And then COVID was something that the gamer community was doing. And we decided to support that along with the Atlanta Esports Alliance and some of our local partners here in Atlanta. So basically that day we took, I can't remember what the day was, but it might have been April 3rd. We pledged 100% of our revenue. So it wasn't just profits. It wasn't, a percentage. It was 100%. And so while we won't disclose the number, we were able to give away, 10 plus thousands of dollars of contributions to these great organizations.
And that's great advice for the listener that's the business owner. If you want to donate or make some contribution, ask your community of where they want the money spent. That's a great way of doing it. How'd you land on that as the method of deciding where to spend the funds?
I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's their money. Right. It's they're voting with their wallets. And so the fact is that if we were just going to be the conduit to surface up options and really be the execution end, you simply ask. And so for us, a lot of that stuff just comes naturally because we're focused on our community since inception. And as it grows, we tend to have a lot more input. And so from our perspective, we can just, if we get out of the way, it's a lot easier for us to get things to flow. And so we just do what we're best at doing, which is surface opportunities and directing traffic to where those might be.
Now, let's talk about that in helping our listeners that are business owners on kind of nurturing and developing a community like that. What are some tips you would recommend for a business that wants to create a community environment and really bring everybody into the equation?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, you need to understand who your target audience or your community might be. It's different for B2B versus B2C, and depending upon the vertical in which you operate, that may have its own nuances. But we developed early on, and I sort of from the onset, I'm not a gamer day to day. I do play now a little bit more, like everybody else is. But what we did was we hired gamers, and as a result of really building an authentic internal culture and an awareness around what it is that we were good at and weren't good at, we really sort of left it up to our employees and to engage with our customers and really built a voice of authenticity. So I didn't pretend to be a gamer early on trying to make up blog posts or any of those things. I really just said, hey, why don't I go out and hire gamers that actually can talk and are already doing this work? And, they're doing it for free, but if I paid them, what would happen? And that's a result of just really just some common sense for us and ultimately having a community that is highly engaged in verbal and vocal online.
Now, but from a leadership standpoint, how you're giving them a lot of autonomy and trusting them that they are, going to say and do the right things. How did you, as a leader, kind of let go in that way and just say, look, I don't know, I'm trusting you. And then how were you measuring that you were on the right track, or when did you know when to pivot?
Yeah, I mean, there's two great questions, and we've not done it right every time. We've just been fortunate that we've hired really well, and that comes back to sort of our overall hiring practices and the onboarding of employees. And so, I know it sounds a lot easier than it is, and it definitely sounds a lot easier than it is. But what I would say is that you can do a lot of homework on the front end of how people communicate these days, right? You're probably doing a social media audit of a potential staff member you're bringing on. And we, just like everybody else, look at that information and their ability to communicate and then their sensibilities. And so as we do that, we track it closely. We use a lot of measurement metrics, and we report on that stuff daily, weekly. If you were to stroll through our offices at any point in time prior to this, you'd see 4 or 5 big screens on board where you'd see what's happening on the social media side of things, what's trending, what's not, where are we being mentioned, and you've got to really sort of take a look, and you can't just set it and forget it. You've got to constantly engage and find tools, software, et cetera, that allows you to surface those things that are relevant internally. And then, you got to spend some time until your team gets to a steady state, being engaged, and then let the leash go.
Now, so what's next for KontrolFreek?
I think for us, it's I don't want to say business unusual, but for us, it is business unusual and as usual, in that we will likely, we'll be working remotely until, we get the all clear, which will come probably in stages and over time. In the meantime, we're going to be supporting our communities and doing product launches and really just continuing to listen to what's happening outside and trying to react to it in a way that keeps us in the mix, but also allows our communities to continue to thrive. And so we prided ourselves on being very nimble and being able to shift as things change. Best Buy and GameStop, shut their doors for a while, right? I mean, that's a big part of our business, but we were able to react and respond accordingly, and we'll do the same as whatever happens in the future continues to unfurl itself.
Now, if somebody wanted to learn more about KontrolFreek to get plugged into your community, what are the coordinates?
Yeah, so you can go to KontrolFreek.com. That's K and an F, and so with 2 E's. You can find us on all the social media channels. You can find us on LinkedIn. And again, we're also hiring too. So we're in a unique position to find good people and bring them in. And while we may not be in the office, we've figured out ways of onboarding people, through this situation.
And so, who are you looking to hire?
We need. We're looking for a good PR professional. We're looking for content people. So we've got. And then partnership stuff. So we've got, we got a couple of open roles really that'll be critical for us to fill here.
Good stuff. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story. Congratulations on all the success.
Likewise. Yeah, great to be back, and I appreciate you guys continuing to keep the torch lit while we're managing through this as well.
All right. Thank you all for listening to Atlanta Business Radio. And remember, this could not be done without the support of our sponsor, OnPay. So please support them so we can continue to share these stories. This is Lee Cantor. We'll see you all next time on Atlanta Business Radio.
Today's episode of Atlanta Business Radio is brought to you by OnPay. Built in Atlanta, OnPay is the top-rated payroll and HR software anywhere. Get 1 month free at onpay.com.